Please state your name and that of your Christmas tree farm and its location.
Go ahead.
Byron May.
Diana May.
That's the Jordan Lake Christmas Tree Farm, and we are located just outside Apex, North Carolina, near Jordan Lake, about a mile from Jordan Lake.
When and why did you start growing Christmas trees?
It wasn't a conscious decision to grow Christmas trees. When we moved out here in July of '94, actually we bought this place. It was already a Christmas tree farm. The previous owners had started it, and it was one of those seems like an interesting thing to do, or a good idea at the time when we were looking to move out in the country, looking to buy some property, and we thought, that's interesting. There's a Christmas tree farm here. Maybe this is something we could do on the side, as the previous owners did. So, and that was 17 years ago. So it was more of we bought into it and just maintained the farm without really deciding to start from scratch, which was probably good. In hindsight, I would be a little more challenged to start knowing what we know now. It would be
it was good we didn't
tougher.
know anything.
Tougher. We probably wouldn't start from scratch. At least not down here. It's a little more difficult, but it's been fun and we haven't quit. So.
What species do you grow and why those particular ones?
Mostly we grow Virginia pine and cypress varieties of trees. So Leland cypress, Carolina sapphire, blue ice, those types of trees. And we've tried white pine, haven't had much success. But those, and we also have cedar. So those are the ones that we are pretty successful with and seem to get through drought fairly well. And we're able to manage those. The other trees we've tried, we even tried, to everyone in the association telling us don't try, was the one they grow up in Pennsylvania, their scrub tree.
What, Scotch pine?
Scotch pine, and that didn't do it. So, but that's what we've kind of stuck with. We have a lot of people that like the Virginia pine because it has the stiff needles, so it's a cheaper tree for them to buy versus a Fraser fir, so they like that option. The cypress type varieties are a little less sturdy needles or branches, so a lot of people just don't like that because they can't decorate it like they normally would.
What challenges have you experienced?
Probably you say, what challenges have we not experienced? The biggest challenge, obviously, for anybody is just the learning curve, learning how to grow a Christmas tree. We didn't really know anything about growing, marketing trees. So that's been a challenge. But fortunately, there's been a lot of help on that end. And I think the challenges we face are I think, as everybody does, is the time you need to commit and spend on your trees. And we jokingly say it's a full-time hobby, and it really is. And we both work full-time and really do this as a side, but hobby, and it takes up a lot. There's something to do all year round. It's not, people think you just plant a tree and then cut it down when it's Christmas time, and there's a lot of in between that takes. And obviously the more trees you go, the nicer you want to make your trees, the more time you have to spend working on them. And that really is probably one of the biggest things. I mean, so there's the growing challenges. There's the challenges of Mother Nature, between the soil, irrigation, weeds, bugs, all those kind of things to deal with. Animals, deer. Those are probably the biggest things that we face. But it's just us learning everything, and we've 17 years, and we're still really learning how to do it, and at least how to do it effectively and efficiently.
Did you get assistance when you started, and from whom would that be?
We had assistance from the previous owner for a little while we still just tried to figure out what we were even doing, because we bought the farm in July, so we had to be ready to sell in 5 months. So starting in November, so we had to have a little instruction there. And then she told us about the association, and we started going to those meetings, and everyone in the association, it was just so helpful to hear about how do you control pests? What do you spray with? When's the best time?
Plant.
How to plant. Bill Stanton taught us how to shear a Leland cypress and how you cut them. I mean, there is a specific way to do the trees, and it's different for each tree. So, learned so much from everybody that's been involved with the association.
Yeah, I think it's been the biggest asset for.
That's huge.
I said there's an association specifically for eastern growers, the smaller farms, choose and cut farms, not that grow varieties other than Fraser fir, and the folks there at the association are just fantastic, great people, nice people.
Yeah.
They know not just Christmas trees, they know a lot of stuff, and it's been a lot of fun.
They're a lot of fun. They've always been willing to help. You can
everybody,
ask, everybody shares information. It's not a closed information type of thing. They really do share information, and they're always willing to come and help. So, and quite frankly, most of them already knew. They were all in agriculture. Many of them had that experience, or they're extension agents. So, and we had nothing like that. Completely coming from different walks of life. So.
What changes have you seen in growing trees and in the Christmas tree business through the years?
I think one of the biggest one for us when we first started, really we were only growing 2 varieties of trees for the most part. They were pines and cedars, and now we have 5 that we grow. I think that's been a big change and a big, I think a big asset to us, to growing different varieties that are different disease problems. They're easier to grow. They're maybe challenging on a different end, but varieties. That's been at least, excuse me, for us a big change.
And changing as far as what we sell. I mean, not only we bring in the Fraser fir that's already grown in the western part of the state, but also their newer trees too. So having that variety, what we grow as well as bringing in, really customers have a lot to pick from. They don't just have just 1 or 2 types of things to look at.
I think if you look at, if you go from our 17 years, what we've seen is at least for us, both the change in trees, tree variety. I think quality of trees continues to go up, both in the western and what we're able to do now since we know a little more about it. I think our customer, we see more people come out getting real trees. I mean, our business is substantially greater now than when we started, for I hope a lot of reasons, but the people that really want a family experience, that want to buy a real Christmas tree, that's been very positive. I think the national, the state, the local associations' efforts to promote real Christmas trees and the benefits have had an impact.
The internet has a huge internet.
I think from advertising to
years.
things, it's made a big difference. So
I think we were one of the first farms because you put it up on the web to have a website.
And it's made just a little, the internet presence is amazing. How I think how that's really helped us.
And now it started there, and now with Facebook and all of those
there's all
things,
kinds of ways to promote.
Linking.
So you obviously changed with the times, but I think we've seen a positive trend in everything, both in trees and in the way you market your business. We think customer growth, all those kind of things. So it's been really positive. I mean,
What new problems are faced?
I think our newest thing is trying to maintain competitiveness. Continue to grow quality. Try to grow quality trees at a good price, given at least lately with in economic times. I mean, it's people tend to want to not skimp on it. Most people that buy trees will still buy a tree, which is good. But we were trying to maintain quality, value, customer service, at least in the business, from the business aspect. There's
trying to provide enough that's in a nice price point. I mean, because the whole economy as it is, people still want to buy and they still want to come out, but we've noticed that they don't buy the same size tree. They still get a tree, but maybe it's a smaller tree. So trying to figure out the size tree and the value.
Trying to guess the market is always a challenge, especially the stuff that you purchase pre-cut. Has been, but and then I think there's problems. We've faced some different problems with new varieties of trees that we've had to deal with. For us, I think there's always been, we always every year worry a little bit about some of these side of the road Christmas tree lots that pop up and how that's going to have an impact. But I think it's really been surprisingly had not much impact on the farmers, the guys that are trying to grow and sell trees, as much as I would have thought everybody wants to try to make a buck off Christmas trees. And I think in their efforts to do that, they don't do as well. They don't provide value. They're overpriced.
They're overpriced. They don't know how hard it is.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's going to big box stores versus coming to a tree farm is a big difference. I mean, I guess those are probably the main problems, besides just the growing issues. But nothing. You know, it's probably, I guess, the biggest is keeping up with the market, trying to anticipate and continue to make yourself competitive. More and more people are trying to sell trees, and even against the artificial market, trying to make
As I say, the artificial trees are, they're obviously a competitor, but I think a lot of people that come out here, it's interesting, they have an artificial tree, but they also then put a real tree up. So especially if they have children, they end up having 2 trees, so that the kids get a real tree with all the ornaments that are made, all the really family tree, and then they have an artificial tree that maybe is a little, nicer, sits in a parlor room, but really the tree that the family comes around is the real tree. So it's interesting to hear what they have to say, that even though they have an artificial, they'll come and get a real tree and wreath and all these other items that are actual real, because they want the smell. They want that still in the house. So
how do you see the future of the industry?
Oh, I think it continues to grow. I think that the marketing that has been done that continue to dispel the myths about real Christmas trees, promote the value, the benefits that they offer. I mean, from what we see, and of course we just have a small snapshot of probably what really is going on, that I think everything looks bright. We're not either to grow every year a little bit in different ways. So I think it's very bright, the future. I mean, I think that what they're doing with the state's doing with research and ways to make trees more disease resistant, different varieties growing in different climates. I think it's got, a lot of this research is now starting to pay off in putting real stuff in the ground that we weren't able to do or wouldn't think about doing years ago. So I think it's going to continue to be great.
And expanding, what you have other than just trees. And I think for most people in the age of technology, and you can do everything virtually and all this stuff, this is the one thing that they could still bring their kids and have them feel, touch everything around an actual working farm, watch wreaths being made, go out. Even if they don't buy one tree that we grow, they still go out and walk around. We have a play area for kids. It's something for everybody if they come out to the farm, and they end up spending quite a long time here. They don't even start looking for the tree, or they'll look for it, get that done, and then they spend the rest of their time here. We've had people come out and picnic. We've had people, groups of people meet here, and then they sit over by. So it's a way. I don't think there's not a whole lot you can take away from that. People are always going to really crave the actual hands-on type of thing, because it's so few and far between now. Everybody does everything virtually. They're always on the internet, getting their kids out from away from the screen and actually getting them outside to see actually something that's really live and working. So I think that is where we have a really niche. So that doesn't come through when you go to a large chain store or buy it on a curbside. This is an actual working farm where they can have their kids experience something that they may not see otherwise. So I definitely think, what's the NC Agriculture logo is...
got to be NC Christmas trees.
Got to be, yeah. So, and then, the nature logo.
Goodness Grows.
Goodness Grows in North Carolina. So all of that, I think...
I mean, this state is uniquely positioned with the strong emphasis that this support from all the folks in the Department of Agriculture and both across the state and all the different commodities. I don't know if it's unique, we don't have any experience anywhere else, but we certainly look at a tremendous asset to everybody that grows from Christmas trees to strawberries to whatever, potatoes.
And having the variety at the farm. So it is kind of, you can go and you're not just getting a tree, but you can see folks working, you can get reeds, we have a Christmas shop where we do actually ornament. So we've stepped it up every year of something new. We have a concession stand now where folks can, we've promoted them to sit around for a while, which doesn't help with parking, so they stay a long time, but they actually really enjoy their day, their outing. And I just don't, I think that will always be preserved in this type of environment. You can't really lose that. That's one of the advantages we have as farmers. So.
How long have you been involved with the Eastern North Carolina Christmas Tree Growers Association?
So we
I've
totaled
been there
it.
17, since we started, since '94. Probably then the most valuable, arrangement, relationship we've had is being a part of that group and those people. So I think that speaks for itself.
Please share any stories, thoughts you'd like regarding your years in growing and selling trees.
Man, there's been so many. We've had, it's been funny. There's been various transitions over the years. For early on, when we had a little old barn, and my father would spend time up here by himself a lot during the day, helping us out. And the people that come back year after year that relate those stories has always been great. That asking me about, my dad doesn't come up anymore, but asking about my father and how is he, and telling us about those experiences, and seeing that
Seeing all the kids grow up. Since it's been 17 years.
People come back and listen. You're
We
in
have
high
one
school now,
family-
and you were here.
We have one family that comes out, and their little girl was 3, and that was the first tree we cut. So we took a picture of that, and we have the picture in the shop. And they come every year, and she's in school in Boston now.
Wow.
So
I think that's
that's unbelievable, just to
those
see
are
all the
great
kids grow
stories
up.
to see the familiar faces, the people that come back that tell their friends, and the kids that grow up, the stories that they have about the employees and how nice they were, the people that are around here.
Yeah.
We've had, it's all good. We haven't had, I think it's something that's been remarkably funny or ironic, but it's.
Well, we always have the stories of folks putting a too big tree on a too little car, and a cartoon-looking type
Or
of thing
too
when
big
they
tree in their house.
right, they had to cut it down.
The inevitable. My trees got bugs. Always
yeah.
seems to be
That's-
with natural products, and whenever we sometimes I don't get a kick out of it. It's unfortunate, but it seems to always happen to our good friends, though. That's probably the funniest thing, is that it's the people that we know real well that are going to end up having the one tree or two tree that didn't quite get sprayed well enough, that that get in the house, and all the aphids hatch, or the spider mites or whatever.
And then great stories about going to the meetings and working with all the other growers, them teasing me in particular about how much we feed our employees versus other
Yeah, it's always funny to hear what other people are doing, and we keep thinking, when we go overboard.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know.
we make it a big party,
Yeah.
I guess.
But we have fun. I think that's always been. We keep saying that all the work you do for the 10 months out of the year to get ready is all worth it in the 2 months, the November, December that you're open, the 4 weekends that we really sell. That makes it all worthwhile, because of all the smiles and faces you put that you're a part of, the traditions, the experiences, and even though it's you do quite a lot. Everybody knows how much work you do in a short period of time. It's you always end the year, and you reflect back on how good a time you had, and how wonderful the people were that come out. I mean, you can have very few stories about how something went wrong, or somebody had a bad experience. I mean, Christmas brings out the best in folks, and that's always nice. And I'm sure other retail businesses, other businesses have horror stories. We don't have that many. Mm-hmm. They're all stuff in
and things that's always we're able to rectify as to whatever we're able to, and they've come back the next year, and we've been able to move on. So plus the employees that work, we have employees that have been here since the very beginning we started, and then kids that started when they were 13, 14 that still come out now that they're in college, and they still ask us to come out, and they're working another job and going to college, but they still want to come out on the farm, which I think says a lot, because it's hard work, but they still enjoy coming out. So there's something here that keeps the draw. It's the family, seeing everybody, plus we have fun. So
bologna sandwiches.
that's at Mike's farm. But yeah, those are the stories.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
John.